Over the last 10 years, there has been a dramatic increase in retail crime. Theft from shops has increased by 47% nationally. Tonight, every member of our audience has been impacted by retail crime. They're here to share their experiences of theft, intimidation and assault, in many cases with weapons, like a Manchu seen here at the top of the frame, who was threatened with a machete. Now, I want to get a sense of the state of play with retail theft across the country. And I'll go to you first, Flora. You're very welcome. Flora, you're from Clare. You run 2 convenience stores in 6 Mile Bridge. And I think a lot of people might associate shoplifting retail crime with city centres. But you were hit 3 times in 10 days.
Yeah, that's right. I suppose to bring it back, 6 Mile Bridge is a small rural town in County Clare, and we've been in business over 40 years, and we definitely have seen a marked increase since the pandemic. We were very unfortunate back in October 2023 that we had 3 armed robberies in the space of 10 days. Which again, it was just one of our staff members was violently assaulted, and it was a smash and grab kind of thing where they came in looking for cash, looking for cigarettes, and left a road of damage behind them.
What were they armed with?
In the first instance, it was a screwdriver. In second, it was a knife, and a third item I can't recall, but it was 3 armed robberies.
Now, subsequently, it was discovered that was the same person.
Yeah,
we heard in court, or the court was told, that they were robbing to pay down a drug debt. That person is now in jail. But what impact has that left on your staff? Well,
it's been a devastating impact, because the sense of security that we had, that we gave our staff, that they worked in, was wiped from beneath them. And I suppose going to work was always an enjoyable experience. They went in and met their friends and their colleagues. And now there's a sense of fear going to work, especially as the night comes, or into the winter. So I suppose their sense of security is gone.
So, as you say, 40 years in business, this was something you had never thought about, but now it's a constant worry.
Yeah, so we would have always had a certain level of retail crime, but it's becoming more and more, there's a marked increase in it. It's devastating. Like, if my phone rings now, before my phone would ring, I wouldn't pass remark, answer the call, but now I look at it straight away and see, is it a staff member, what's going on. So it has changed our whole sense, our sense of business. It affects us, my family, my staff, our community. Our community was very much affected by it, because I said we were from a lovely small town in County Clare, and then just, devastation was left in its wake.
Thank you for that, Flora. I'll come in, bring you in now, Amber. Amber, you work in Dublin Pharmacy.
Yeah.
And you were threatened at knife point by a man who was just stealing toiletries just in the last few weeks.
Yeah, so
it must have been terrifying.
Yeah, it really was. This actually happened twice in the past 6 weeks. The first time, it was at about 9 o'clock in the morning, and he came in with a mask on, and he was looking for razors. He left because I lied and I told him we didn't have them. He left and then came back in, and another member of staff went down to ask him if he was okay. And that was when he pulled the knife out and said, "I'll put this through you." It was really frightening, and it really did upset me at the time. And then for it to happen again 2 weeks ago was really, really, really scary for me. And I have lost sleep over it, or has taken quite a big toll.
Yeah, that was my next question. How would you put that behind you then, going to work every day?
To be honest, it did take a big toll on me. I lost sleep a lot that night, and it has caused me a lot of anxiety, especially going into work. I love my job, I really do, but over the past few weeks, it's just been so hard to find the motivation to go in. When you're so scared all the time, you never know when it's going to happen again.
I was just going to say, everyone walking through the door now must be a potential.
Yeah, and just daily robberies, small shoplifting, but to be threatened at knife point, really, really did frighten me to the point where it has caused me anxiety even outside of work. And it's just really, really hard.
Amber, thank you for that. I'll bring William in now. William, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You run 2 supermarkets, one in Longford and one in Dublin.
Yes, yeah.
And now I understand you've actually stopped reporting every incident of theft because it's become so common, unless perhaps you've got repeat offenders.
Yes, so yeah, if a first offence, there's really no point in reporting anymore. First of all, we just leave them out the door, because the risk of, I suppose, stopping somebody and getting it wrong, sometimes they're trying to set you up.
When you say that, that's because there have been defamation proceedings
yes, absolutely,
taken by people who've been accused of stealing.
Yeah, you know, they're looking for something more than just the bottle of wine or whatever. Okay. But I suppose, yes, somebody stealing a bottle of wine, bar of chocolate, whatever, we'll leave them out, check the CCTV, and the next time they come in, we'll stop them and tell them they're no longer welcome. If they repeat, we will then report it to the Gardaí and, you know, hopefully make some progress on that. Difficulty there is you're then tied into going to court to say you downloaded the footage and all that, so your costs start to climb. It's not just what they took.
You had one major incident last year involving the theft of €40,000 worth of cigarettes?
Yeah, of tobacco products, yes. Yeah. Just it was in the week of the budget. And
what people can see now is what you were confronted with when you came into your shop in the morning, is it?
Yeah, I got a call at about 3 a.m. from the local Gardaí, and that's what I arrived to. They came in, they did well planned. They got in through the front of the store. They brought euros to get shopping trolleys to pour the cigarettes into, and they took them across the road into a van where it was out of coverage. They obviously were all covered. Still an open investigation. But the disruption that causes to business, you know, like the store was closed for hours, obviously forensics and all of that, and then you have to get everything back together, get stock back in. It's really disruptive.
How much do you think you're losing to theft every year at this stage?
It's about 150,000 between the two stores, and that's after I invest 120,000 in security. Like my store in Dublin,
that's on top of that, or that's including the 120 in security?
No, that's on top of it. It's huge.
So we're up on 300,000
easily, and like I have to invest in security because, like that girl, my staff, some of them just wouldn't come to work if you didn't invest, and you have to protect them, you know, and that's my role in it. And
if you had one thing you think could improve the situation for people like yourself?
So shoplifting, pointless really going to court for a small thing like that. It needs to be a fine, you know, and it needs to be double the value of what they take, and get us back our money. Give the other half to charity. I don't really mind something like that. And I suppose the other thing then is policing, infiltrate groups of youths. I'm not saying to go and, you know, pretend they're causing trouble, but the Gardaí get in there, start chatting to them, they dissipate, and they don't get time to cause the same problems.
Okay. Thanks for that, William. Down here in the front then is Willie. You have a newsagent in Cork City, Willie.
Correct.
You say you now feel under siege. Why is that?
Oh yeah, without any shadow of a doubt. Part of my business, I have an off licence as part of the business, of which is closed every day until about 6 in the evening until we have security in. The reason being is that we just can't keep it manned. We can't keep watching it the whole time because it's just a case of in, grab and go. And we give a lot of our time to, you know, I'm a retailer, not an athlete.
I'll just stop you, Willie. This is in your
yes.
your shop.
Could I just say, Katie, that's every day. That's not just an isolated incident. This happens every single day.
You have your fair share of repeat offenders as well, don't you?
I could write a book on them. If I could remember all the incidences.
Well, I have one here that says you had one woman who had 17 convictions.
Yes.
For stealing from your shop.
The same person, which we have one clip where she breaks the window, which cost me €397 to replace. I have another instance where the same person, I went after her one day on the top of Harley Street in Cork. I thought I might grab the 2 bottles of wine back off her. She's taller than I am, a bit younger than me, but she looked me straight in the eye and told me if I went to took the bottle, she'd smash the bottle over my head. There's a person I think of, Guido Massey. If you remember back in 1999 in Fairview Park in Dublin, where a man smashed a bottle over his head. That young man, who was 17 years of age at the time, is now in a home in Turin, paralysed from the neck down. I thought of him at that time, I don't want to end up like him, because this person would do it.
Again, it's obviously having a big effect on you and also on your staff, in terms of it's not just the actual theft, but the intimidation that comes with it.
The intimidation, that, you know, like we're retailers. You know, we're not athletes. We're not custodians of the peace. We're, you know, this is not what we ever The first day I went into retail, this was never part of the deal.
We're just looking at a clip now. There it is, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No reason, just lash out. That's happened on numerous occasions. On one occasion, a guy hit the screen so hard he brought it off the ceiling. I was €150 to have it replaced. No comeback.
Okay. Okay, thanks for that. I want to bring Mike in now. Mike, you're welcome. You run 5 spars in Limerick, and 2 of them have petrol stations as well. Can I ask you about that in particular? How much of an issue is people filling up and driving off without paying now?
It's a big problem. It happens in each site probably 3 times a day. So we're hit 6 times a day, every day, day in, day out. Doesn't matter, is it weekend. A lot of it is reasonably innocent, and you get through to the guards, they make the call, somebody turns up 2-3 days later. But then you can follow the names and see that this person does this every month. This person might do this 10 or 12 times in the year. They're using this as a form of banking to fuel their car. We badly need government legislation to change to allow the oil industry together to be able to have access to the licensing system to send fines out and try and get the debt back. That's not there at the moment. They're doing it in the UK. The oil industry has access to the DVLA and does follow up, and a debt collection agency does send out the letter, and they do collect. They've reduced, well, the recovery of drive-offs has gone up by 90% since they've brought in this system in the UK, and it's operating in Northern Ireland also. You know, we need access to that.
Okay, we'll ask about that in a minute. Just in a general then, across your five stores, yeah. You've been in business for over 30 years. Like, how much more of a problem has it become in recent years?
Like, it started, it's always been there, but it was small enough. COVID 2021, from then on, the attitudes changed. People's sense of, I don't know, is it sense of entitlement or something? Something has changed in Ireland. Something has changed on the ground. They feel they can do whatever they want, say whatever they want, and there is no comeback. And that has to change. Like, we need something as simple as, we don't have enough prison spaces, we're never going to have it. We need payback legislation so that when someone steals, when they're found to have stolen, yeah, that is taken from source of income and sent back to the PPS number of the victim of the crime, so that they get paid back for their goods. That's reasonably straightforward and needs to be done.
How much is it costing you across those 5 businesses, would you say?
I don't like thinking about it.
You must have added it up.
It's north of 300,000.
North of 300,000.
North of 300,000 last year.
Would you be passing that on to your customers then, or your customers paying for that?
I'd like to stay open. I'm 5th generation shopkeeper in my family. I'd like to think I can stay open. To do that, you have to cover your costs in whatever shape or form you can. And the price, does it move with more costs? It does in all businesses. Okay,
so we're all paying for this, basically.
If the people of Ireland and society in Ireland wants to leave this situation, stay the way it is, prices are only going to go up.
Thank you for that, Mike, and I will put all that to the panel shortly. I just want to very quickly bring you in, Vincent Jennings. You're very welcome. You're the CEO of the Convenience Stores and Newsagents Association. You think, and I was quoting the figure there, 47% increase in the last 10 years. You think it's actually a much higher level of retail crime than we're actually seeing in those figures?
It is, and I think that William has already pointed that out. Most retailers do not report what is considered by many others as being petty crime. Of course, if there is violence involved, if there is particular large sums of money taken or product taken, then it is reported. But ordinarily, most retailers here would incur 3 and 4 occasions each day, and they don't report them. Each day, and they don't report them.
I know you're calling for the government to fast-track a proposal to put in place heavier penalties for assaults on retail workers, and we will be coming back to that later on in the show. But tell me about some of the other proposals you're putting forward. Exclusion orders for repeat offenders, for instance.
Yeah, I mean, we've been very successful in persuading the government parties to include in the programme for government a number of measures that we'd called for. And exclusion orders are one of them. Real antisocial behaviour orders is another. Reform of the Defamation Act is another. We also need to see, and this needs to be done by the Garda Commissioner, that the current situation of using 999 as the sole way of reporting, that has to stop. We have to go back to using our local Garda station. It's much quicker, it's much more efficient, and certainly everybody would be much more happy to see that.
But that'll only work if there's guards in your local Garda station.
And it is happening. It's happening in Dublin. I mean, most certainly there is a change in Dublin 1 and Dublin 2 of late, where the recent recruits that came out of Templemore have been placed on the beat, and it is having a huge effect already, a really positive thing for members of the public, for staff and for our own members.
The scale of this, Vincent, how big is it?
It's a pandemic, it's an epidemic, it is absolutely extraordinary. I mean, it is not an exaggeration to say that this is well north of 1.5, 1.6 billion euro per annum. That's just the cost of the shoplifting. All of the additional ancillary costs, such as security, CCTV cameras and all the other things that go with it, it's the same over again.